Hey everyone, welcome to a super special episode here on White Sparrow Living, where today I'm joining forces with 5 of the most incredibly talented and super sweet DIYers here on YouTube for a super special cause. We're going to be making some Dollar Tree DIY Christmas ornaments, so stay tuned and I'll tell you more, including how you can be a part of it too. And now, without further ado, let's get started. For this project, I'm using some baby blankets from the Dollar Tree and some wooden beads, and I'm just going to cut those baby blankets down into little strips of about 1.5, maybe 2 inches. Whatever size you make them, you just want to make sure that they're the same width all the way down so that when you fold them and put them together, that you can see all of the pretty colors peeking out, because we're going to make these into that little ribbon candy. So I'm going to take a big long needle, and I'm using my regular thread and stringing it on. I first put these together to have a folded edge on the side because I thought that was going to look better. But once I'm done, you'll see I decide that the other side, the cut side, looks better. So from now on, as I make these, I'm going to be cutting them down on both sides. So I thought that it would need a little bead to keep those little loops separate. But as you know, the more you make something, the better you get at it and the more tips you learn as you're going. So I ended up not even using the beads in between those little folds, and that made this project even easier, and I was able to do them a lot quicker. So here you can see how cute it is with the cut edge, so that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of them. And then I just used a piece of baking twine at the top with some beads that I added, and then I'm going to add a sweet little bow to the very top, and you could just put a ornament hook through that top bead and then not even worry about the baking twine. So whatever's easiest for you, or however you're used to hanging your ornaments, that's what you want to do. And I ended up getting 28 of these ornaments from those 3 baby blankets, but I did remember that I didn't use the towel that I showed in the beginning. It was another baby blanket that was white with the little pink hearts on it. I don't know if you've seen those, but you know, I only retain water, so I have forgotten what I made these out of. But here it is all finished, and I'll show you all of the ornaments that we're going to be making at the end of the video. Today, I am so excited to be working with these beautiful and talented ladies. I think fangirling might be a more appropriate word. But Natalie at Design to the Nines put together such a sweet way of helping her Orlando, Florida community. No pun intended, by the way. She's providing a candy-themed Christmas tree for the Ronald McDonald House Playroom. And in case you're not familiar with the organization, they basically provide a home away from home for families with children receiving treatment at the hospital. They've housed over 35,000 families since 1996 and now are helping about 2,700 families each year so that they can be close to their critically ill children. Now there's 2 ways for you to help us. Well, I'm going to add one more. But the first official option is to click on the special YouTube holiday fundraiser link where you can donate directly on the website that they set up for this collaboration. And then the second way you can help is to make an ornament or 10 and send them to Natalie by November 10th. And she sent some inspiration trees from Pinterest to give you an idea of the colors she's looking for. Really, she said anything pastel and candy themed, but she does want it to be homemade if possible. And then on November 29th, which is called Giving Day, she'll post the tree decorating video showing your beautiful ornaments and giving a sweet shout out to everyone who contributed. And if you're not able to help with either one of those options, I would ask that you send your prayers for Natalie's fundraiser, the cause itself, and most importantly, all of the families and children that pass through their doors. Next, I'm going to be making some lollipops, and I'm using Dollar Tree's pink foam board, which is so pretty. I love that they came out with this. So I first tried cutting this out, but when you use scissors, it kind of crushes the edges and it's not a really nice cut. So I'm going to use my craft knife and make some circles. And then I'm going to use some pink, blue, and white tubing from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to go over that very edge with my tubing and then go all the way around. And then once I get back to the beginning, I'm going to start it up on top of the cardboard. Now I meant to turn this around and have the pink on the back. That was the whole point of using the pink. So do as I say and not as I do. but you know, I'm a little distracted these days. Anyway, I'm just going to use my hot glue, and then once I make it around that second turn, I'm going to add my second color. In this case, I'm using the white tubing, and then I'm able to give my lollipop kind of a swirl effect and then go all the way to the center and glue it down in the middle. And then I'm going to take some cello bags. I think these are party bags that I got from the party section at Dollar Tree. I'm going to turn it inside out because it's got the two little corners, so I want those to be a little softer, and you'll push that towards the back. That'll make sense in a second. And then I'm going to take a skewer, stick it into my lollipop, and then just added some hot glue, a little bit on the skewer and a little bit at the bottom of my circle, and then slid on my straw. The hardest part of this project was figuring out which cute straw I wanted to use with my lollipop as the stick. I added a sweet little bow, and this is a good time to use your scraps. And then once that's all done, I'm going to attach that and cut off the bottom of my skewer that's sticking out. And these were so fun to make, and they're so quick. And anytime you're doing ornaments and things where you need a lot of them, you want projects that are pretty easy and quick so that you can knock a bunch of them out for your Christmas tree. And since I don't have any of my Christmas items out of storage yet, I don't have anything to show you with it on the tree, but I used a frame that I had made for a friend's wedding a while back, and it had some gold sparklies in it. So none of my Dollar Trees have any greenery out yet for Christmas, but this was the best I could do so that I could show you these sweet ornaments. But I really love how these turned out, and I hope you like them too. So the Dollar Tree did have these clear ornaments out, and that was one of the only things I could find. I think there was a couple other things, but anyway, I'm going to use one of these mini pots and the ornament and then some filler I had from Easter. The only way to really do this, I'm going to be making a little gumball machine, and I'm sticking some of that scatter fill into that empty ornament. And then I took a square bead from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to super glue that to the top of a capers lid. You know, the little caper jars that I eat a lot of those. You guys probably know that if you watch my channel at all. Anyway, then I'm going to take my little mini pot, and I'm going to paint that in a super sweet pink. And this is an acrylic color. I originally did it in ballet slipper chalk paint, but I didn't like the way it looked. It was a little bit too elegant and not so fun. So I made it a little happier with some brighter pink. And then I'm going to take some ribbon and attach that to the top of my ornament. Now, I had my cousin Stephanie hold it for me, but if you don't have a friend to help you, you can just use one of those little clips. And then once I tie my sweet little bow, I'm going to use some all-purpose cement and some hot glue to attach my ornament to the bottom of my clay pot, and then I'll put my lid on top of that. And then just to give it a little tiny bit of Christmas sweetness, I cut off the tips of the only Christmas stem I could find and just glued that right under my bow. And here they are all finished, and I only had 2 of those mini pots, so that was all I could make. And then you can feed a wire ornament hook through that top bead to hang it, or you can use some baking twine or string or whatever you want. But I think these are just adorable. I love how they turned out, and I hope you like them too. So then I grabbed these party hats, and I think these are supposed to be unicorn horns because they're really skinny, and it comes with 8 of them. So I'm going to take one of them and cut it down, make sure it fits into the other one, and then I took some batting and stuffed it into the bottom cone, and then I'm going to hot glue the second cone that I cut down into that bigger cone at the bottom, and it becomes the perfect size for a cotton candy holder thingy majiggy. Anyway, so then I'm going to take some of my batting and just start wrapping it around and hot gluing it so that it resembles a big nice cotton candy. Well, really not this big. I like them a lot bigger, but this was, I think, so adorable, and it was super easy. Just glued it all together, and then I'm going to add some pretties with some ribbon, attach it with my chenille stem, and give it a little glue just to make sure everything stays in place. On the back, I always cut my chenille stem off the excess, but what you should do is just leave it on there so that you can attach it to your tree with that as the holder. So anyway, I just think this is so adorable, incredibly easy, and it's going to be perfect for our candy tree. So if you thought that one was easy, this one's even easier. I'm going to take this basket bag. It's instead of the cellophane, because I just didn't have any, I'm going to cut that down, and then I took some pretty pink ornaments, pulled the top off, and then I'm just going to wrap it around and put that top back on there. So you don't even have to make a hole or do anything. It just stays right in place. And then I'm going to roll it around and then cut that cellophane down, cinch it up on the sides, and use the little tie strap or a chenille stem. Add your little pretties at the end, and there you have some either bubble gum or candy or whatever it looks like to you. That's what it is. And then the next one, I'm going to use some shot glasses from the Dollar Tree. I took my glue gun and made a teeny tiny little hole at the top. Then I took some more of my batting and I'm going to wrap that around and hot glue it down just to give it a little bit of softness. And then I took some of Dollar Tree's deco mesh in pink and blue because all of this is going to be pastel-y and pretty. And this would have been the perfect time to use my silicone fingertips so that I wouldn't burn my fingers when I'm doing this and I'm pressing that mesh into the little shot glass. But for some reason, they were not in the spot where they normally go. Connor, where are my fingertips?
I don't know.
You don't know? What'd you do with them? Did you hide them? Connor, where are my fingertips? Where are my little pink fingertippers?
I know.
You don't know? You didn't get them? No? He's so cute, but he's so guilty. I did eventually find them, and it was definitely him that got them. So anyway, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to feed some baking twine up through my gumdrops. That's what these are, by the way, gumdrops. But somebody did think they were marshmallows. So whatever you think they are, it's still candy. Anyway, I'm going to feed that through and make little knots so that they dangle one above the other. And then I'll just take some more of that baking twine, feed it back down through that top hole, add some pretties, and it's done. And I think this is so sweet. Can you guys tell they're gumdrops? Even if they're marshmallows, I think they're still adorable. So for this one, I was planning on making a sucker. That was what it was intended to be, but it turns out more like a cake pop, I think. Anyway, I'm going to take some roving yarn that I got from Walmart a few years ago, and I really need to use this more often because it takes up a lot of room. And I'm just taking my hot glue and I'm going to start wrapping a styrofoam ball all the way around until I get to the other end. And then once I get that completely covered, I'm going to take some pink yarn from the Dollar Tree and wrap that into the grooves of my roving yarn. And I don't even have to use a lot of hot glue for this part because it kind of sticks to that roving yarn. And then once I get it completely covered, I'm going to do the same thing with a skewer and my hot glue and then put that straw on top of it. Again, the hardest part is picking which cute straw you want to use. And then I took another cellophane bag, opened it up by cutting it apart. And then before I put it together, I decided to add some sparkle and prettiness. So I just took my spray adhesive from the Dollar Tree and added some of that. I think this is actually snow, but it's glitter snow. So it makes it look really pretty. And then I covered it with the cellophane, added my bow, and then cut it down to the size that I wanted for the stick. For this last one, I took some Dollar Tree cutting mats and I'm going to cut those down into 7.5 by 2.5 inch strips. And then I want this to be kind of folded and have little lines in it. I don't know how to explain that. You'll see it. It's like wavy paper. So I just took my heat gun and I'm going to bend it in the places where I want it to bend. And I'm going to go one way on one and then the other way on the other. And then once it's nice and warm, you can fold it and bend it to those nice curves and it'll stay in place. But you don't want to get it too hot because then it'll completely melt. And then once it's stuck in place, I took my chalk paint in white and I'm going to paint both sides because I don't want it to have that shiny look. I want it to be nice and matte. And so if you don't have a heat tool, you can just do this. You just rub it together until you get the bend you want without actually making a bend in the plastic. So it takes a minute, but once you get it curved, it looks so cute because it goes in one way and then out the other. And this is going to be that dot candy. And I think this turns out so adorable. So I'm taking my super glue and the puffy dots from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to do certain colors along the way. So That made no sense. I'm going to take my dark pink ones first, do 2 rows of 3, and then I go to the lighter pink, and then there's like this weird limey green color, which I'm counting as kind of a yellowy, and then the darker green, and then ultimately your purples. But I think this is so adorable. I used my crocodile to make a hole at the top and then added a sweet little bow, and I think it's so stinking cute. Now, some of you guys may be too young to even know what this dot candy is, but we used to eat these all the time, and this was like taking me back to the days of my childhood. All of these candies are, especially the ribbon candy. My grandma always had these hard candies in a bowl. Nobody does that anymore. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these projects. If you did, don't forget to give them a thumbs up. Comment, let me know what you think. Be sure to check out the description box below where you'll find the link for everyone's video and the special link for the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Florida fundraiser page. I hope everyone has a blessed day, and remember to always be the light. Bye!